Well, on that business note, new unemployment data for the month of April is coming out in the United States later this Friday, and it's expected to be one of the worst monthly jobs reports ever. Well, for the latest, let's cross now to France 24's Yuka Royer. Yuka, the economic fallout just seems to go from bad to worse, doesn't it?
Well, Tom, the monthly jobless data is one of the most closely watched economic indicators in the United States and will show just how badly the coronavirus pandemic has affected the economy there. Now, the Labor Department's report comes after a number of U.S. companies, including General Electric or Boeing or Uber, announced massive job cuts. Now, analysts had predicted a 16% unemployment rate for the month of April, which would mean 1 in 6 working Americans is out of work. In just 2 months, the unemployment rate shot up from a record low of 3.5% back in February to the highest level since World War II, and really shattering the previous record of 10.8% reached back in 1982. Millions of Americans have filed new jobless claims each week since the start of the pandemic. The figures have come down slightly from the staggering 6.9 million reached at the end of March. But overall, in the past 7 weeks, 33.5 million Americans have lost their jobs.
OK, but it's not just the United States, is it? Europe also bracing for a major spike in unemployment, Yuka.
Well, the EU expects the unemployment rate within the bloc to reach at 9% this year, up from 6.7% in 2019. And this, of course, as the European economy is heading for the worst recession since at least the Great Depression. New data from Germany out this Friday showed that its exports plunged in March by 11.8% from the previous month. Now, that's the steepest monthly decline since the German reunification back in 1990. Germany, of course, is Europe's industrial hub and relies heavily on exports. Now, the country has weathered the pandemic relatively well compared to other world powers, but economic recovery will be slow and will largely depend on how quickly its trading partners recover. And a separate survey showed that 80% of German companies are now expecting revenues to fall this year. The German government, though, is spending 750 billion euros to cushion the impact of the coronavirus, but the country is still heading for a deep recession. On the whole, national and EU measures to respond to the pandemic amount to 3.4 trillion euros, or about a quarter of the bloc's GDP.
OK, thank you very much indeed for that update. Yuka Royer, thank you very much indeed. Now, during the course of